Okay, your exit ticket is going to include one problem from this first section and one problem from the second section. So the problem that the kids have been having is by the time you get to the exit ticket, you kind of forget what we did here. Okay, so pay close attention. Now it says solve by drawing discs. So you're going to have to draw discs on a place value chart. Write an equation and express the product. Equation means the math problem, and product is the answer to multiplication. So let's start by writing the equation. No, those are not for you to play with. I put them over there for a reason, okay? Brooklyn helped me get them ready, and this is where I want them to stay unless we're using them. And I know that kind of messes up our routine, but I think that'll be easier for us to leave everything alone, okay? And yes, I recorded all that, but it's okay.
Yay.
Then when Michael gets back, he'll know what to do with these baskets on the table. Okay, so 3 copies of 2/10. Now I'm going to make a rule, okay? Write your equation first. So 3 copies of 2/10 looks like that. Okay. Now draw the place value chart. And I have to look at the place value of the number I'm multiplying. It's the tens place. And the rule I'm telling you now is you need to start with the ones place, just in case there's regrouping. And this is the tenths. And I'll let you write it like that on the place value chart if that makes it easier. Okay? Now, if you'd like to use a highlighter to make your dots, I'm fine with that. Okay?
Can I borrow a highlighter?
You always know the answer to that as long as you return it. Everything is fine.
Don't, you're in trouble. You're the mother of one.
So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 copies of 2/10. Watch me carefully, because I have kids doing it incorrectly. They're like going 3 across.
No, you times 3.
You're going to go 2 across
But times 3.
and 3 down.
Yes.
So it's 3 rows
Of
of
2.
2/10. Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
And then today I would like for you to go ahead and write the answer below on the place value chart. So this is 0.6. And then write it up here. Okay, we'll do another one, and then I'm going to let you try C and D on your own. Okay, so 5 groups of 200s. What does that look like?
5
times
0.0.
Good. Now, what place value did I say to start with?
1,
The ones. So this time, how many columns will I have?
3.
3. Why will I have 3?
Because there's hundreds, tens, and tens.
Okay,
Ones,
because it goes all the way to the
tens.
hundreds. And I said we could do it like this. So, even though I'm writing the 5 first, I'm not making 5 dots. How many dots am I making?
2.
2. And I'll do 5 rows of 2.
Now you can regroup.
Now you can regroup. So when you write the digits below this, and it looks to me like I don't have enough room, I will write 0.1
0.
0. Now what 0 can I just skip writing?
The hundredths
The hundredths. So my answer
is 1/10.
is 1/10.
It's pretty easy.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and do C and D on your own. They're very similar. Like this one has 2, this one has 3, okay? But there's a little bit more regrouping. And then I want you to check it with mine, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and push pause. Let's see what I guess what I want you to check is I want you to make sure you didn't skip any of the steps that I did. Okay?
We're supposed to add a 0.
We need a 0 at the beginning of 24 hundredths.
So I almost put my decimal in between.
Now, here's what I want to remind you. Do you remember yesterday when we were practicing with standard algorithm?
Yeah.
And I said, whatever place value you start with,
Yeah.
if you multiply times a whole number, you're going to end up with the same place value. So you can kind of check yourself. I started with the tens place here. Did I end up with an answer in the tens place? Yes, I did. Okay? So you can check yourself a little bit that way. All right, let's do the next one. 5 times as much. That's written differently. What's my equation?
7 tenths times 5.
But I want
5 times 5.
I want to start with the whole number. So 5 times 7 tenths.
Did you push play?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I just have to show tenths and ones on the place value chart. This one's very similar. The only thing different on this one is you just regroup more times. So I like it when there's 5 groups of something, because that means I'm going to have 5 rows. How many in each row?
7.
Yep. Then when it comes time for regrouping, it's quite simple to find groups of 10. Because 2 groups of 5 makes 10. So does my answer make sense of 3 and 5 tenths? What's 5 times 7?
35.
35. So 5 times 7 tenths would be 35 tenths, right?
Yep.
And that's what we have. Okay, let's do the next one. 4 thousandths times 3. Did they write that backwards?
Yes.
Morgan, what do I need to write?
4,000. 3 times 4,000.
And when you write 4 thousandths, be careful. We haven't been working in the thousandths place so far today. So how many columns do you think, Jose?
Oh, I'm not Jose.
4. Good. Good thinking, Jose. Okay, why do I need 4 columns? Anyone know?
Thousands.
Good, and I said you have to include the ones because I want that decimal in there. Yeah, was that Anna?
No, that was pizza.
Oh no, well you've got the chair police right beside you. So be careful what you do. Okay, this one's pretty simple. 3 groups of 4, right?
Yeah.
So I guess what mistake I don't want you to make is I don't want you to start by making 3 dots.
That's exactly what I had.
Okay, really got to think about it. You got to start with your number that's in decimal place value.
Oh, I didn't.
Now you got to be careful when you do this one. Because what do we have in our answer?
0.
Several zeros.
That's the first time I've been there. This isn't that hard. I didn't even catch it. Yeah, it's super easy.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at the area models. You can always go back and look at that later, okay? So this says draw a model similar to the one picture. Now here's the deal. The one picture isn't finished. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They did 7 times 3, but they forgot to write the answer. 21 once, right? Go ahead and write the answer. Genesis, you can catch up on that later. I'll leave my board on here so you can see it. 7 times 1/10 would be what?
7 tenths.
7 tenths. 7 times 2 hundredths.
14 hundredths. Can we abbreviate?
Of course you can. But use the words, not the numbers, okay? So on the area model, please do not abbreviate tenths like this. It's going to get you into trouble. You might accidentally misunderstand what you wrote. Okay, so I'm going to show you the mistake I've seen in every block. Would you like to see it?
Yeah. Every block.
Every block has made this mistake, okay? They've done 21 ones, pretty much just fine. They come over here and write 7 tenths.
No, you need to put your zero decimal. Sadie was having trouble yesterday on zero.
Right.
So I helped her.
So here's what you've got to do. You've got to make sure you're showing the decimal place value on the lines.
Tenths, not 7 ones.
Right. Now here's what Morgan, I used you as an example yesterday because I said, you know, Morgan's a very bright student. We went through several of these and she said, Mrs. Lewis, I do not understand how you're getting your answer. And remember I showed you the place value chart and then it just clicked. So I want you to know that place value chart is there to help you if you need it. So, and I even left them on here from the last class. Let me move it up a little bit. Okay, so here's my suggestion. Go ahead and add it mentally, then check it on a place value chart. That's my suggestion, okay? Because we have a lot of regrouping today. So the first one, take a look at this.
We don't have space for a place value.
You can check it with me right here,
Okay.
okay? When you get to your exit ticket, that's my advice. Check it on a place value chart. Okay, so 21 plus 0 plus 0.
21.
Okay, 21 is the whole number. And tenths place. 7 plus 1. 8. Now I've got a 4 left over with nothing to add it to. Okay, so if I did this correctly, on my place value chart, I'll write 21 plus 7 tenths plus 14 hundredths. Did I get 21 and 84 hundredths?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's how you check it on a place value chart. I need you to stay with me, okay? All right. Let's do the next one and then we will skip C on the back and just go directly to D. Okay, so take a look at the numbers we're multiplying. 6 copies of. How many place values do I need on my area? 3. What place value is the 4 in? So 4 ones. 2 tenths. And 5 hundredths. Now I want you to write it exactly like we have been practicing. So watch. 6 times 4 equals 24 ones. Okay, don't try and squeeze it all in a row. I want it in 2 different rows, and you'll see why in the future. 6 times 2 equals 12 what? Tenths.
6 times 5 equals 30.
Okay, now as we write this in standard form, we're going to be very careful about the placement of the decimal. So take a look at this. 24 ones, I know, is just written as 24. 12 tenths. Now let's just say I'm going to put 12 tenths on the place value chart. The last digit I write is going to be in the tenths place. So how do I write that as a decimal?
1.2.
And you might already know that without putting it on the place value chart. I'm just giving you a strategy. And 30 hundredths. So the last digit I write, which is a 0, goes in the hundredths place.
So it's 0.
So how do I write that in standard form? Do I need this trailing 0?
No.
So it's 3/10.
And is it okay if you put it anyways?
If you put it, go ahead and cross it off. Because the only time you're going to have to carry it out to the hundredths place is when we're talking about money. Okay? All right, so what would I add first here?
1.
My 1, so 24 plus 1.
But
Okay, now my tenths. What's 2 plus 3?
5.
So let's check it on the place value chart. 2 plus 3,
5.
4 plus 1.
5.
All right. Okay, let's take a look at D on the back. It's a little different. I really like it, actually. Makes you think. So this one says 4 times as much as 20 and 75 thousandths. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought, oh my goodness, we have a lot of columns on the area model. And then I went, wait a minute. Do we? So let's take a look at the number 20 and 75 thousandths. I mean, if I multiply 4 times 0, what am I going to get?
Don't you only need 3 columns?
I do. Because anything times 0 is just nothing.
Yeah.
So why would I waste my time adding nothing? Can't I just leave it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I only need 3, like Thomas just said. 4 times as much as 20 and 75 hundredths. Now you have to be careful here. Because Cooper put 21s, which is correct, but what would be better?
2 tens.
2 tens.
Save space.
And then I skip over to what place value?
Hundredths.
Hundredths.
So 700.
7 hundredths.
And then 5,000.
Okay, now 4 times 2
8.
equals 8 what?
Tens.
Okay. 4 times 7,
28.
28 what?
Hundredths. 28 hundredths.
That's right.
Times 5 equals 20. 20,000.
Not everyone speaks our math language, do they?
No.
Okay, now before we go any further, I want you to watch something. This is leading up to tomorrow's lesson.
Okay.
Okay? How can I check? Because I'm getting ready to write some numbers that seem a little bigger than what we've been writing. Because 8 tens is what?
80.
Right. So how can I check to see if I'm going to have an answer that's anywhere close? I can round, right? Because that's how you estimate in 5th grade. I round. So I'm going to round 4 times, and I'm going to round this number right here to the nearest whole. If I round it to the nearest whole, what place value do I look at? The tenths, right?
Yes.
So will this be 20 or 21?
20.1.
It'll just be 20, because I said nearest whole number. So what's 4 times 20?
80.
80. So am I on the right track?
Yes.
Definitely. Okay? So 28 hundredths. How do I write 28 hundredths?
0.28.
Okay. And what about 20 thousandths?
0.020.
So the last number I write is in the thousandths place, right?
Yeah.
What can I cross off?
The 0.
Okay. So now that's really 20 thousandths is the same as what number?
28,000.
2 hundredths. Now, you have to be very careful. Why do you have to be very careful?
Yeah, I'm pausing the video.
I think I am recording. See, the blue light's on, so I'm recording. Thank you though for making me check.
I thought that same thing.
Okay, so my first thought is 8 plus 2 is 10. That's my first thought.
Yeah.
Because I see so many 8s and so many 2s, I feel like there's going to be some regrouping. So right away, I want to go directly to the place value chart. It's just going to save time. What's 8 plus 2?
10.
I guess I better be on the pin. Regroup the 1. What's 2 plus 1?
3. 0, 8. So 80 and 3, 10.
And if you suspect regrouping, you're probably going to check it on the place value chart anyway, so you might as well go ahead and draw the place value chart. Or use one of mine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and quit recording. That's enough.